It's time for another episode of Growing, Eating, and Educating. NanBop Farm Director Jason Abraham. Today we're discussing how the farm is switching over from the busy summer and autumn months to bunker down through the cold. Welcome back to the show, Jason.
Good to see you.
Hey, you as well, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Give us a little pulse check. What's going on the farm as of late?
Awfully muddy and awfully wet and sloppy.
I can imagine. I looked out here on the way to the show. I was like, ooh.
Yep.
So that's kind of the issue with all the snow thawing, is it just turns into a big mud pit.
Yep, and we've got a clay vein that runs about 4 feet deep that kind of holds onto that water a little bit longer. It's actually a good thing for farming because it slows down that water from leaving the soil. Yeah. But when you get too much moisture, it becomes soggy and wet and 100%. So it's just, you just manage it. You deal with it and you keep moving forward.
So last week when we had you on the show, we showed some B-roll of getting some plants started in the indoor grow. Here we're looking at it right now. How's this coming along?
It's coming along great, actually. This morning, came in and did another check, and we've got baby beets are now coming in as well.
I saw that video on social media.
Yep, they're going to be about 1 inch, a little bit less in diameter, so really small. Those are targeted for restaurant production specifically because it is, beets are very popular in the restaurant these days, and it's a very easy plant to grow indoors. Our intention is actually to continue to grow it all year long indoors, and the beets we grow outdoors are actually going to be your bigger full-size beets and your turnips and such. We've also got some short carrots, some 3-inch, 4-inch carrots that are growing in the garden as well. And as you can see there, all those big leafy greens, that's all the radishes, and those are all starting to come into harvest time now. So I'm going to start pulling some of those out this week and seeing how they're doing. And the intention is, what we can grow in the basement and take pressure off the field to allow us to grow more in the field during the spring. We want to capitalize on that opportunity. It's very easy to heat our basement. It's very nice. Our driveway down to the basement is actually thawable, so we don't ever have any ice on it, which is really nice. So, it makes it really nice and easy to be able to get in and get out. We've got some lettuce starts that are going as well, so we can start doing some come and go, cut a couple of leaves here and there. We're trying to get some bags of greens and see what we can produce ourselves internally in the basement instead of out in the field, because a lot of your leafy greens out in the field, as soon as spring starts to roll into summer, you really get into that hot temperature, and that forces all your greens to bolt. And when they bolt, you get to harvest seeds at the end of the year. And as a matter of fact, I did that today down in the basement. I brought a bunch of our cilantro out, and you kind of work the plant, get all those seeds to fall out, and then believe it or not, you drop them in front of a fan and let the fan blow the chaff away, which is the part of the plant that's on the outside of a seed. It makes it a lot easier. You can also do like kind of gold pan method if you have round seeds.
Yep.
I was doing the cilantro, so the coriander, which is the seed of cilantro, is a round seed, so it's very easy to separate that way, which is really nice. So I harvested probably close to 10,000 cilantro seeds today. I don't think we're going to need that many cilantro.
I don't think we're going to need cilantro seeds for a while. What type of challenges are you seeing? Because having the climate control is fantastic, but does that create any issues that you've had to overcome?
So the biggest issues we have, it really comes down to space, getting the lights to the right space above the plant. The plants, now that they're starting to grow a lot faster, you have to constantly adapt and accommodate the plant. You don't want to force the plant to do something. You really want to accommodate the plant. Let the plant be happy. Let the plant do what the plant wants to do, and then take advantage of that. And it gives you a better, healthier setup, and it makes easier transplants when your plants are happier. For example, all the celery that is in those B-roll shots, you can see we're actually going to put in our south hoop house. We sealed that off today.
Oh, wow, okay.
And while we were in there, I noticed a few things that were very interesting. And these are our eggs, and I brought in 3 in particular, and I don't know if you guys can get shots of these, but I get questions.
What's with the little tiny?
Okay, so this little teeny tiny egg.
It's like the size of a quarter.
To show you the difference, you're looking at a full-size egg and what's called a pullet egg.
A pullet egg.
Now, a pullet egg usually only happens when your chickens are young. However, sometimes you'll get one of these eggs, like I did today. We had 129 eggs today, and one of them was that size. That small egg is actually referred to, when they're full grown, as a fairy egg. And it's
a cute name.
It's called a fairy egg because it is traditionally a sign sometimes that the chicken is getting towards the end of her laying. Now these chickens are about year 1, and they're going to go about 3 or 4 years before they start dying off. So we've actually got a lot more time. So this one's just truly a fairy, and it's called a fairy because it's It just happens, and you just don't know it's going to.
It's that rare.
It is that rare. Additionally, I brought in a couple of other eggs because I really wanted to show you. So I get questions all the time. What makes an egg turn brown? And the interesting thing about this is eggs are actually white when they're laid.
Really? I thought it was the other way around. I thought they were naturally brown and the white was a process they went through.
Internally, when that egg is formed, it's formed with a white shell. And then the chicken itself puts down essentially a deposit, for lack of a better term, to coat the egg, and the egg is brown. Now, I brought these two in because, as you can see, these are from the exact species, but yet they're very different.
This one has like a pastel color to it.
So the reason I brought this one in and this one shows you that this chicken really put down a lot of color for this egg. And I don't get a lot of speckled eggs from these chickens, but this egg is so curious to me because you can see it didn't get anywhere near the brown that the other eggs do. And actually up here, you can actually see the coating that the chicken is actually laying down on that egg. So it's just a very interesting anomaly that I wanted to share with you guys because I get questions all the time about why are brown eggs not the same?
Why in my 12 dozen do I have multiple colors here? Now, speaking of the chickens, how are all the animals handling winter on the farm? Of course, I'm also asking for an update on my boys, Gino and Enzo.
Well, your boys got in a lot of trouble today.
Oh,
Gino helped.
Enzo, come on, fellas.
Gino helped himself to a chicken, and unfortunately, I had to put that chicken down because, for a change, Gino actually started eating this chicken. And most of the times, what they'll do is they'll pick them up and kind of escort them around the farm, shall we call it. And unfortunately today he was eating one, and unfortunately that chicken wasn't in a good position, so I had to put it down so that it didn't suffer anymore. Gino got in trouble for that one for sure. But back to the other animals, we've moved one of our flocks into the north hoop house because we've sealed that off. We're letting those chickens lay their eggs and become comfortable. We're trying to get them to go broody, and if they go broody, they're going to start tending to their eggs, and we hopefully will get some chicks. If we don't get the response we want, we will bring in and introduce an incubator that will monitor the temperature, the humidity. It'll rotate the eggs for us too.
Gotcha.
And if we did something like that, we could also introduce duck eggs.
Oh, yeah.
And then maybe for next year, we could introduce turkeys and have turkeys for Thanksgiving. So, when you have an incubator, it opens up your opportunities.
It opens up a lot of opportunities.
Which is really, really nice. As for our goats I've put on their winter coat. They're nice and fluffy.
Oh yeah, they are.
And they're getting real fat right now because they're getting grain and hay every day available to them. Because what you want to do in the winter when the foraging food is covered up, you want to kind of mimic what they eat. So you want to give them some legumes, and your legumes would be alfalfa, for example, is a legume. And then you get into wheat and you get into rye, and those are more of a grass with berries that they really enjoy eating. They enjoy eating oat as well. So, we put down hay for them, but the funny thing is they like the straw better because the straw comes from a type of grass here in Michigan that still has a lot of the berries attached to it, and they go right for those berries. Yep, those are very high protein, high energy, and it really makes a difference for them. So they're fattening up to get through the winter, but it's really just pay attention to your animals, observe your animals.
Yes.
I don't care what animals you have at your house or at your farm. Just pay attention to their behavior. They're going to tell you what's going on. Much like the chickens with these various eggs, you can see something's going on. You don't know what it is unless you pay more attention, and really stay on top of the attitude of your animals, because if your animals are healthy and happy, they're going to behave healthy and happy. If they're not, chickens, for example, are going to give you some noises you don't necessarily hear every day in the coop. They're going to get very aggressive toward each other. So right now we have a very happy flock. The coop is set at about a paltry 52 degrees for them. So they're very happy. They're very comfortable. I had over 11 dozen today, which is a fantastic number.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting to see how the chickens react to the weather. The dogs are the best in the weather, in my opinion, because they run around in the snow like it's nobody's business, like they're a bunch of kids.
I know, and I love, my favorite part of just watching activity on the farm is Gino and Enzo running across the field, then scampering behind about 50 yards are our two goats, trying their best to keep up on their little legs.
They are very funny to watch run. Watching the goats run, I get a little nervous that someone's going to break a leg, but it's what it is.
Goats. They have the grace that we all wish we did. And if you want more information, you need to be following NanBop Farms over on Facebook, Instagram. Great videos showing all the ins and outs of everything happening on the farm. Jason, always a pleasure.